When you are just starting to read tarot cards, it can be really difficult to weave multiple cards together into a story. In fact, most people struggle at first with reading more than one card at a time. It does not have to be so hard. When you start with a simple 3-card spread, like I'm going to show you in this video right here, you can easily learn and practice how to find that thread, that story that ties all of those cards together. Hi, I'm Angie from The Simple Tarot, which is all about helping you learn how to read tarot cards so that you can use them as tools for creativity, self-care, personal development, just plain fun. All right, and this tarot spread that I'm going to cover right now, the 3-card spread, is my favorite, and it can be used for all of those things: self-care, personal development, divination even, so much more. The 3-card tarot spread is used by tarot beginners because it's so simple, but it's also used by professional tarot readers because it's so powerful. I mean, sure, right? Like the 10-card Celtic Cross tarot spread. It's sexy, it's traditional, and it seems like more real, but in reality, the simple 3-card tarot spread, it can give you all of the information you need, no matter what type of problem you're facing. 3 cards really is the perfect number. It's just enough to feel challenging for a beginner, but it gives you the practice for finding that narrative thread that ties your tarot reading together. It's also robust enough to give you pretty much all of the information you need to solve a problem, get clarity, or find some actionable advice. In fact, I've been reading for years and years and years, and it's still by far my favorite tarot spread out of all of the ones I've ever read. It's just so powerful. You have the simple and standard past, present, future spread, which you can read predictively or not, depending on your preference. Or you could change the spread positions, the layout, for a specific relationship problem, sort of like him, me, and then us together, which is another great layout. So let's go through reading a simple 3-card tarot spread step by step. Grab your tarot deck if you want to play along, but first shuffle your cards and lay out 3 cards face up, one right next to each other, just like this image. It's going to help to have a tarot journal or notebook available so you can record your initial thoughts and ideas. Once you have those notes written down, you can then pull the thread, the central theme, the narrative story, whatever you want to call it. You can find that narrative thread and use that during your tarot reading. I absolutely love tarot journaling, but having a record of each tarot reading that you do is a really fantastic way to see how your readings grow and change over time. It's also a really good way to practice because you can do a journaling reading right now, come back a week later and see if you would read the cards the same way. And if you continue to do this, you will see your practice leads to real tarot understanding and growth. You can always come back to them at a future date to sort of check in to see how accurate you were. Okay, but now with our 3-card tarot spread, let's take a look at what we see. Step 1, pay attention. Notice what types of cards you have and how they make you feel. So right now, do you feel good about these cards? Do you feel resistant? Do you feel eager and hopeful? Do you feel like the cards have a warning? What is your physical response to these cards? Write that in your journal. Take a look for the patterns. Are there more than one suit or multiple cards at a time? Are they all major arcana? Do you notice any patterns in the colors, the numbers, or the symbols? Write this all down. And the more often you do this, the more often you practice, the easier this will be. But right now, do you have an instant understanding of the story or how the cards flow together? This is going to hit you probably through your intuition, and you're just going to know what the cards mean. Sometimes this does take practice, but you will get better at it over time. So what does your intuition say? If you absolutely had to read the spread right now without diving any deeper, just based off your quick review, what is the story and how do those cards read? Put that in your journal. Very often, what you just put in your journal, your initial intuitive reading, is very close to the final reading that you're going to come up with. So be sure you really follow that intuitive sense that you have. Now, if you're a writer, think of this as world building and character development stage of your tarot reading. You're setting the stage and coming up with many possible ideas. Some you're going to throw away and some you're going to keep. Once you've gotten these notes in your journal, it's time to dive a little bit deeper. We need to start thinking about plot, or at least the major plot points of your spread. So step 2, we're going to start telling a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can interpret the cards in multiple ways, but it helps to have like a storyteller mindset with some sort of narrative arc to it. So if you're a writer, think about inciting incidents, midpoints, and reversals of fortune. Think about goals, motivation, and conflict. Think of the 3-act structure, the setup, the fun and games in Act 2, and then the resolution. And if you're not a writer at all, or all of that just seems like gobbledygook, think of it as a chain of events. When A happened, B was the result, and now I need to do this thing, C. When you use the simple past, present, future layout as a reading, it's a really easy example of this, and that reading actually works really well in many, many situations or to address many problems. So past, when this happened, present, this was the result, and future, this is what I can expect, or this is what will happen. So now take a look at your cards. Do any of these resonate with you? Write it in your journal as if it was a story. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So now we need to tie it all together. We're going to write a first draft to your story, or even if it's a story in your mind. So think of this as a genre. So you came to the tarot cards with a question. Maybe it was a question about your relationship. So you're going to keep the answer, the story, within the boundaries of that genre relationship. You're writing a romance, right? But no matter what the question is, keep your story within those boundaries. Now, step 3, find the thread of the story that ties all of these cards together. So sometimes this is obvious and you're just going to know. And sometimes it's more of an intuitive feeling. Sometimes you really have to intellectually sort this out. So use your journal and review all the notes you took so far, but don't expect it really to have all of the answers. You're really looking for, I don't know what to say other than a thread, but there is one sort of line that connects card 1, card 2, and card 3 within the confines of your question, your genre. So when you look at these 3 cards together, this thread that goes through all 3 of them, it might be an event that happened, it might be a relationship you have, or it might be an emotion that ties everything together. So find out what 3 cards have in common using the boundaries of your question, and then use your intuition, not really your logical brain. Very often we'll get an intuitive hit, but we don't like it. So then we'll try to force it using logic. That's not what tarot's for. You really need to get comfortable using and trusting your own intuition. All right, so put everything together now and tell yourself the story of this 3-card tarot spread reading. Write that down in your journal as if it was a short story, like really just a paragraph or 2 is great. And if you want to take it even deeper, write about your process of how you came up with that story. Was this easy? What was your mood as you started? How do you feel now? Was this fun? Was it a little painful? What questions do you still have? If you record all of that in your tarot journal as well, it's really going to help you grow and learn as a tarot reader. Now, finally, step 4, trust yourself. Tarot is a gateway into your subconscious, so you're not always going to know what's right, not in a conscious, intellectual way. So even though you may not fully understand the story of the tarot or even the tarot reading from a logical space, if it feels right, then trust yourself that you've read the cards right. You just may need more time, perspective, and a little bit of hindsight to see how everything plays out. So use your notes in your journal. Review them in a couple weeks or maybe even a month from now. You can often find that thread if you're missing it right now, just by using hindsight and a little bit of perspective. So make sure to write notes later if you do that too, because you want to be able to remember all of the tarot spread, your entire experience with it, initially reading it, and then when you came back to it later and understood it. So each time you review your readings, you get to take them each a little bit deeper. So, of course, the 3-card tarot spread is super powerful and super awesome. You're going to be using this throughout your entire tarot career or journey or whatever you want to call it. But I put together this next video right here for you that includes some other easy tarot spreads that are perfect for beginners. So you can start exploring those as well. Remember, there's no right way, there's no wrong way to learn tarot, just like there's no right way or wrong way to read the cards. There is only your way, and your way is the only way that matters. So you can learn more spreads and layouts here, and I will see you right now in that next video.